You're listening to the Real Men Talk podcast with Stan and Marc. And welcome to the Real Men Talk podcast with Stan and Marc. Welcome to the show. I am in New York. Stan is in
St. Louis.
What's going on, Stan? How you doing?
All is well, brother. How's everything with you?
Man, I can't complain. So, Stan, I don't know if you saw the graphic I sent out with our show, and people are all going crazy on your picture, man. This 50-plus-year-old brother with the ripped abs and the muscled up, chiseled body, man. So the first question people are saying is, one guy said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to the gym. This guy obviously has superior genetics."
So Stan, no, that's called dedication.
So yeah, well, now let's understand this, Stan, because I'm actually curious too. If I'm honest, so Stan, when people see you, at 50 something, that's amazing. But actually, when people saw you at 20 something, they saw pretty much the same. So Stan, when guys maintain into their 50s and beyond, the first thing I think people always say, people say steroids, people say drugs, people say this, people say that. What do we need to understand when we see that fit guy at the gym who's in his, 40 plus?
Well, first thing you got to understand is what you build, the foundation that you invest in your 20s is the foundation that you will have when you get in your 50s. Every foundation is built to last, whether it be a sloppy fast food foundation or whether it be, doesn't mean that if you stop eating and start exercising when you're in your 30s and 40s, you can't build a good physique and have that foundation. But always remember, your foundation is sure. I started doing this, man. I've never been overweight. I started doing this when I was in my 20s, maybe 22 years old. I picked up a dumbbell and I never stopped. So I built that foundation of fitness, health and fitness when I was in my 20s and kept going 30s, 40s. And I mean, daylight came and I'm 57 years old right now, I just got through with a group of preachers and, they're out of shape and sickly and they want my help. And one of them asked me how old I was. And I'm always reluctant when it comes to stuff like that. But I told him I just turned 57 in October. And he was like, wow, man, you look good. I was like, only by the grace of God, because he wakes me up every morning. I'm on his wake-up list, and it allows me to carry out my day. Maybe to eat right, stay fit, and help other people in that order. So it's all about that foundation, man. There are many times I wanted to quit years ago, but I always thought about what made me start. Anytime you want to quit something, always reflect back to what made you start, and I guarantee you won't quit.
And Stan, we had, we've been friends for a long time, so you've seen me in different stages, and you're absolutely right from a standpoint of, how important it is to maintain. I think, I have friends, you're one of my closest friends, if not closest friends. I have other friends who are trainers. And what I noticed, Stan, is there's a commitment to the lifestyle that is real. It doesn't come and go with the seasons. It's not one of those things. I don't think people really understand how serious food is. I never forget, I did a happy hour back in St. Louis, and that's when we were training, 3 times a week or whatever. And I came to the gym. He said, "What'd you eat last night?" I said, "I had some wings." He said, "Oh, okay." He said, "You had 300 grams of fat." I was like, "Man, ain't no damn 300 grams of fat." And then you laid it out. You're like, "Yep." You said, "How many wings you had?" I know you didn't have 5 wings. And so I don't think people really understand, Stan, how serious the commitment is to maintain and look like you do. And then secondly, we don't understand how serious / dangerous food is. When you sit down and you broke it down, you said, okay, so you ate, let's say you had 10 to 15 wings, right? I said, yep. You said you probably had you drank some alcohol. So in addition to eating that fat, you also drank alcohol, which slowed your metabolism down. So all the work we did in the gym, you counteracted that by the food choices and then by drinking. And I was like, damn, because you're like, when you work out, you speed up your metabolism and you burn more fat. But you just slowed it down and dumped a ton of fat in there. But I thought about people who do that 2 or 3 times a week, you know? And then you look up, and then secondly, Stan, you've seen my body because I wasn't consistent. On one hand, we trained together, and I think you got me down to like, we were training. I was a hard 245, 250. And then you saw me years later when I did the juice fast and I lost 70 pounds and I was down to about, 250, 260. But that was 2 different body types we're talking about. The body that you worked out with me when I was in my 20s and I was a hard 245, 250 versus in my 40s, I lost fat, but I was a fat 250. And one thing that I definitely tell the kids, I told the kids this weekend, and of course they looked at me like I was crazy, but I said, look, girls, one of the things you can do when you're young is to monitor what's going on. If you see that you are trending up, let's say you get on the scale and you're gaining 2-3 pounds a week or 5 pounds a month, you need to, at that moment, stop it right there. Don't let yourself, like me, get 100 pounds heavier. I mean, damn, how do you even get 100 pounds heavier? But it's because you're not paying attention, And I think that's the thing, Stan. Wouldn't you say that's one of the first steps is just to be aware of what you got going on?
Yeah, I reflect back to the group of ministers that I just got through meeting with. And one of them, first thing he asked me was that major question: how can I get rid of this belly fat? It used to be a all male thing, but now it's a female thing too. Everybody's walking, not everybody, but so many people are walking around with big bellies, and it's the norm now. What they fail to realize, it's very, very dangerous. Belly fat is the most dangerous fat in the entire body. Belly fat is more dangerous than high cholesterol. Case in point. Belly fat, you got two types of belly fat. You got your visceral, and then you have your subcutaneous. The subcutaneous is that fat you can't see that's behind your abdomen area, which pushes against your kidneys. Anything abnormal goes on in the body sends a signal throughout the whole body. So when your kidneys are being pressed and pressured with this subcutaneous fat, it puts pressure on the kidneys, and the kidney sends a signal to the brain, something's going on here. There's a foreign invader in the body. Raise the blood pressure. Now the brain gets that signal. Now the brain is being disturbed because it has to raise the blood pressure. It sends a signal to the heart. Pump more blood more faster. So now your heart's working. It's affecting your kidneys, your brain, and your heart. The heart's working harder now to pump more blood, and now your arteries are being dilated and your blood pressure goes up. The majority of people that's walking around with subcutaneous fat has high blood pressure, period. And once that heart pump's pumping out more blood at a rapid pace, your arteries are dilated to receive all this blood. Now just figure, if your blood sugar is high, if you're borderline diabetic, or if you're diabetic, all your heart is being forced to pump all this thick blood sugar. That makes the heart work harder now because it's pumping the blood sugar, this thick blood sugar, but now it has to pump it at a higher rate. Why? Because they're trying to raise the blood pressure. Those arteries dilate, that blood is shooting through there at a rapid pace, and all the plaque that's in your blood is bumping against the walls of your arteries, creating microscopic scars. You with me on that one?
Yeah.
This is what's going on inside of us. We don't even know. It's creating microscopic scars. So hours later or the next day when that blood pressure has calmed down and brought back all of that cholesterol, all that cholesterol and particles start to subside, and it starts to fill in those little microscopic scars that it created along the way. Next thing you know, your arteries are being narrowed. That works harder on the heart because now the arteries are a lot more narrower. That's creating heart disease. Now the heart got to pump even more harder, to push through a more narrow arteries. So it affects the brain, it affects the heart, it affects the kidneys, it affects so many different organs in the body. Subcutaneous fat is the most dangerous fat in the entire body. So it's more dangerous than cholesterol alone.
And so, Stan, is that one of the headings I put on the show today was ironically bellies and beer bellies. So when you have that hard,
that's the beer belly.
Yeah, when you have that hard belly, that's that fat that's underneath the stomach.
Yeah, that's that subcutaneous fat. But that scarier fat is the fat we burn off when we start an exercise program and we start dieting real good. But that subcutaneous fat is that fat you got to put some longevity on, brother. And that is a more stricter diet.
Like, what would that diet look like, Stan?
And we address that diet by low sugar. We got to keep the blood sugar low. We address that diet by avoiding processed foods. We address that diet not by taking fat burners, by keeping the body moving. If you don't move it, you won't lose it. You got to move the body. And that takes some dedication. It takes more time to get rid of that subcutaneous fat because it's stubborn. It's dug in there. But guess what? You can get rid of it. Takes a little bit more time, dedication, but you can get rid of it.
Now, Stan, so for those who are listening and listen back to the podcast, I think what we're going to do, this is our first show for 2017, but this is the kind of information that sometimes you don't get, and you're not going to get it in the special way that Stan brings it to you. So throughout the year, Stan, I would love for us to put together some type of book that we can then go out and share it with people. It's time for you to get your book in 2017, my brother. And
I'm working on my ebook now, hoping to have it done by the 15th of February.
Awesome, because that's what we need to get out there.
And the name of the ebook is simply "Did You Not Know?" Simple as that. Did you not know that belly fat is the most dangerous fat in the body, and it creates thought in people. My ebook will provoke thought. Did you not know that the food companies have secretly hijacked your brain? By way of all the different additives. And did you not know that milk does not do a body good? Just a lot of things that provoke thought.
So Stan,
did you not know? And this one here, this is very important. Did you not know that? Did you not know that vegetable oil is nothing but soybean oil?
What?
That's it. Listen, I just tell these guys, that these brothers at the meeting, they were ordering all this food. I met them at the Cracker Barrel. I don't know what it is about ministers like to meet at the Cracker Barrel. And I strictly told them, you guys order what you want to order. I'm not here. I'm not going to say anything about what you're eating. Just eat normal. Be normal. And they were normal. One guy ordered, and he was the heaviest. He ordered catfish, the biscuits with gravy. Now, Cracker Barrel biscuits is white. Their gravy's white. That's all white flour, very high glycemic. He ordered whatever he ordered. His eggs were runny. I ain't saying nothing. I'm sitting this out. Eat, man. When we got through, I told them the worst thing all four of them ate was the white biscuits, the white flour, and that fried catfish. Because the catfish was deep fried, and most likely 9 out of 10 times it was fried in vegetable or canola oil. And you have to understand what those oils are. They're highly rancid. They're omega-6 and 9s, which is very dangerous if you have an imbalance of 3, 6, and 9s. It was deep fried, And a lot of people don't understand. They think vegetable oil is healthy. That's the lie that we were sold here in America. Vegetable oil is nothing but canola oil. If you take all the vegetable oil and look on the back of it, it's soybean oil. If you look at all your vegetable oil containers, the first thing is soybean oil. That's all it is. So we know how dangerous soy is in America nowadays because all of it's a GMO. You know, for us men, we need to avoid soy because it drives down our testosterone and raises estrogen levels. There are only 3 or 4 reasons why men have an erectile dysfunction in this country. 3 or 4 of them. If you cut out a couple of them, man, I'll guarantee you, there wouldn't be such thing as an erectile dysfunction. It really wouldn't.
What are they?
You know,
what are they, my brother?
And like I tell people, the number one culprit with erectile dysfunction in this country now is plastics. Microwaves. Listen, these two together, plastics and microwaves. Do not put anything plastic in a microwave. Why? You gotta understand, plastic is full of a chemical called BPA, which is a substance that keeps plastic hard and durable. You notice when you put microwave plastic container in anything, it comes out as kind of soft and hot. It's weak. They let you know the BPA, that chemical that keeps it together, has been compromised. And all of that BPA leaches into your food. Well, BPA mimics estrogen once it's in the body.
Ugh.
Okay, stay with me on that. It mimics estrogen once it's in the body. So therefore, like they say, the old saying is, which dog is going to win the fight? Well, the one I feed the most. So if we're eating microwave food and putting plastics in a microwave at work, number one, at work, hello, y'all, at work, and all these other places, at service stations, and a lot of times in the restaurants, they throw your food in the microwave and warm it up in plastic. We don't know that. That's why I try not to go to many restaurants. But that BPA leaches into your food, and it mimics estrogen. And if you're doing this on a regular, and you don't know it, it's really driving down your testosterone and raising your estrogen levels because BPA mimics estrogen. That's why it's so dangerous to put plastic in a microwave. Number 2, soy products. I never eat a veggie burger unless I make it in my own home. Never, ever eat a veggie burger out anywhere unless you know they made it handmade. And you can tell a homemade veggie burger. You really can. But I don't buy any veggie burgers or any meatballs or any type of stuff that's already in a bag. It's nothing but soy-based products. Those drive down your male testosterone levels too, and it raises the estrogen levels in men. And I don't want this to be just directed at men. Women the same. Women do not need an influx of estrogen nowadays because you get this so much, and stress raises estrogen levels too. And women are more stressed nowadays than men. You know, so it's just a few things that helps with erectile dysfunction if you could just cut these things out. Another thing is high blood sugar. You know, high blood sugar. High blood sugar a lot of times always accompany high blood pressure. So watch this. If you want to get an erection, first thing you have your veins have to be dilated. So if your veins are dilated, but your blood sugar levels are high, that means that thick blood sugar is filling that dilated vein, which should be, but your blood sugar shouldn't be high. Therefore, it's preventing your blood from going through there and creating a hard erection for men. So high blood sugar and high blood pressure prevents you from having the erection that you need. And can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah.
I'm hearing myself echo here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Excuse me for that.
You're good.
So high blood sugar and high blood pressure causes erectile dysfunction. Soy products causes erectile dysfunction. Using plastics in the microwave causes erectile dysfunction. And you know, microwaves are everywhere. They're so convenient, and we're just ignorant. We're ignorantly doing these things on a daily basis, and we wonder, what's going on with me? I need to go to the doctor. Of course you do. He's going to give you something, a pill, when all you got to do is get educated on what you're doing wrong. And I was explaining this to the people, and the guy was just eating his catfish, listening. And I told him, that soybean oil, that vegetable oil that was cooked in, that's going to affect you. He said, bro, this has been affecting me for the last, I think he said 16, 17 years. Mm. I'm like, wow. And I asked him how old he was. He said he was 41 years old. I was like, oh my gosh, you've been doing Viagra that long? Are you serious? And it's a problem because I see guys in their late 20s doing Viagra and all those other male enhancement pills. What's going on?
Yes.
Something's desperately wrong here, Marc.
Well, I think, like you said,
Marc, honestly, back when I was 48 years old, I tried that. I asked my doctor about it. He said, sure, I'll give you some free samples of a pill that normally would cost $10 a piece. I'll give you some free samples. I tried them. I liked them. But I knew this is medicine and something ain't right here. You know what I mean? I take a pill and it give me, you know what I mean, that long for 36 hours? You got to be kidding me. This was Cialis. So what I did was, when I started getting my clinicals, I started learning about soy and the effects of everything that affects you with your male erection. Man, I tried that stuff twice. I liked it, but it wasn't natural. And you know, I'm totally against medicine.
Well, man, pass those on to me. Pass those on to your brother when you see me, man.
I don't have any of those things, man. This was years ago, dude. This was years ago. I told you, when I was I'm 41 years old. I'm 57 now. so right now I am celibate. I've been celibate for a year and 7 months now. So, you know, I'm kind of anxious to see whenever I have an affair with some female, how I'm going to act, because my body's a whole lot more cleaner now than it was 2 years ago. You know, it really is, because I'm on the verge of being a vegetarian, but not totally, because I love eggs. You know, I love eggs. So it's just one of those things, man. I just want to share that information with people out there. Avoid microwaves. Definitely when you put plastics in it. Avoid anything that has soy, and that's for females too. You know, because high estrogen has a lot to do with, you know, a lot of females get lupus. You know, it has a lot of evidence for females get lupus and breast cancer, along with all the antibiotics and alcohol and carbohydrates. Those are the culprits for breast cancer. You know what I mean? Yeah, high alcohol intake, carbohydrate, a diet that's always been high in carbohydrates because it raises the blood sugar. You know what I mean? And, you know, just antibiotics. Those are the things that, you know, women ought to be aware of. I just want people to do their research. You know, if I give an inkling of information out, man, follow that information and do your research. You know what I mean?
So
do your research.
Speaking of women in bellies, I'm seeing these people on social media post the pictures of these waist trainers, basically like the old school corsets. Have you seen this?
Yes.
What's your take on that, and what's the downfall, the negative of that? Is there a positive of wearing a corset or a waist trainer?
Watch this. My last girlfriend, a lot younger than me, was my training partner. Had an awesome shape, had an awesome physique. She tried every race trainer, because women will never be satisfied with themselves. I don't care how good a woman looks, she's never satisfied with the inches or the contour of her body. This girl tried all the waist trainers she could because she wanted a six-pack. And I kept telling her how to get it. But she liked sweets. Okay, that was her downfall. Her sweets, her dark chocolate. Waist trainers do the same thing as a piece of plastic, which you wrap it around your waist, which we know is not healthy. Waist trainers will train you for the moment you're wearing it to keep your waist in, because it forces you to compress your abdomen area. Suck it in, suck it in, suck it in. When it comes to losing inches, you must go diet with that. Simple as that. That's it. You know, you see guys back in the day, guys would wrap plastic around them and put on those wetsuits if they want to lose weight, and they'll run and run and work out and work out. That's doing nothing but dehydrating you. And I guarantee you, in 48 hours, your body would demand all of that water you lost. That it would demand you put it back, and you will, because it'll make you crave fruits and vegetables, which are full of water. But the waist trainers, I am not on board with those there, brother. I really ain't. But I think they're really hazardous to your kidneys. Because it takes almost two people to put it on you when you first got to put them on. You know, that's compressing against your kidneys and everything else. I think they're very unhealthy. That's just my take. I've never seen anybody get results from them. That's just my take. I don't have any proof except what I've witnessed myself. My ex-girlfriend tried all kinds of waist shapers, and after probably 2 years, she still looked the same. She really did. And she was my training partner, but hey, man, you can beat the horse to the water, but you can't make a drink. She just had a dark chocolate thing. If there was dark chocolate around, she was going to eat it. And she would work to have this guy out the gym. But she had a fetish for dark chocolate. I told her, I said, you know what? It's good when you're eating it, but it's hell when you got to wear it. You know, people think that, I can eat this and I'm going to go to the gym and work this off. No, that's a myth. You've been deceived. No way. Before you wear that off, before you work that off, you have to wear it. You know, so the calories don't get distributed that fast. You have to wear it before you get rid of it.
So Stan,
so that's a bit.
So we got, if we just talk about reality, right? So people, again, we look at the picture. I'm looking at your picture right now. I'm looking at your damn six packs right now, Stan. And
you know what, Mark? I don't know what picture you're looking at. What picture are you looking at?
I'll send it to you. It's all over the.
All right.
It's all over the internet.
I got better ones. I got some I took in the last month and a half, maybe 5-6 weeks.
So okay, now Stan, you told me, after I did the juice fast, and so now I slowly gained the weight back from the juice fast. Now I'm on a low calorie diet, and I'm down like 60 pounds or so. I'm almost to where I was when I was down off the juice fast, but now I'm going to lose probably 34 more pounds, 30, 40 pounds. Anyway, so Stan, okay, now when I was 20, in my 20s, I never had a six pack, but I had a flat stomach, right? So now I'm going to come all the way down, but I'm going to have loose skin. I'm not going to look like I looked in my 20s. For those people who do have success in losing weight, and they look in the mirror and they see this flesh and they see this skin, and they're not going to have a six pack because they've stretched their skin out. Stan, some people could get, a little bit dissuaded, or you feel like, well, damn, I lost all this weight, but I still don't look great naked. What do you say to those people, Stan?
Cosmetic surgery. Look at here. No, I believe in cosmetic surgery, but not before you put the work in. Put the work in first. You have people going to get lipo, and they're lazy. You can go get lipo. You can go get gastric. Guess what? If you don't change your ways, it's all going to come right back. I've seen that several times happen to people. Now, let's talk about you. I've seen you yo-yo up and down. And you know what? I give kudos out to you. You never stop trying. Simple as that. You never stop trying. When you left St. Louis, you was like 246. The women cried when you said you were leaving. Trust me, they cried when you said you were leaving. I remember your party. You looked athletic. You were that athletic guy. You know what I mean? And I think you were feeling yourself a bit there too at the same time. But that's good because that's good because you worked for that, man. Hey, you were about one of the best workout partners I've ever had. And I've been working out since I was 22 and I'm 57. You were one of the best workout partners I've ever had. You were dependable. When you came to the gym, it was all about putting the work in. You know what I mean? And coming from where I bought you from, where I met you at and bought you from, for you to have that kind of work ethic, that was, man, I took my hat off to you. I hated to see you cry when you left, for real. I hated to see you go, because workout partners, good workout partners are hard to come by, bro. Trust me, I don't care if they're male or female. They are very, well, put it like this, a good male workout partner is very hard to come by. You can find a good female workout partner that's reliable. They're always there. They come in to work. I would rather have a female workout partner than anything, because they are bringing it. Why? Because women want results. Women ain't there to waste their time. They ain't there to be socialized. That's why I don't bother women in the gym. They're there to get there. They're there to put their work in, bro, because competition for them is rough. Guys don't mind competition. You know what I mean? A guy with a big belly can pull the prettiest girl from a guy that's fit. So I'm kind of like, wow, that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? But women come to work. So to address this issue you're talking about, women come to put their work in. And when you yo-yo up and down and lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, guess what suffers the most? Your heart. Look at a lot of celebrities. They lost weight, gain weight, lost weight, gain weight. They die of heart attacks. Luther Vandross, gain weight, lost weight, gain weight, lost weight. Guess what? He had high blood pressure. He had high triglycerides. One of the major things that will give you a heart attack, and he was diabetic. One of the major things that will give you a heart attack is your blood sugar is high over a period of time. That's why doctors want to know where your A1C is. You know what I mean? That's a measurement of 3 to 4 months of blood sugar levels. When your blood sugar is thick over a period of time for years, your heart wear out from pumping that blood sugar hard. If the heart don't wear out from that, because most diabetics die of cardiac arrest. They really do. Because the heart just give out. The heart say, I can't take it no more, and to give out. Number 2, when you're going up and down, gaining that weight, losing that weight, gaining that weight, losing that weight, the heart suffers. Vandross died. He had a stroke. Why? High triglycerides. High cholesterol doesn't necessarily give you that stroke. It's the high triglycerides. So I'm not worried about my cholesterol. If it was high, I want to know where are my triglycerides at. Triglycerides is just the measurement of fat in your blood. When you got a lot of fat in your blood, that's affecting the heart. See? So along with stress and high triglycerides brings stroke. When you got a stroke, everything in the body starts to malfunction then. So that's why going up and down, yo-yo diets is bad on your heart. And if you look at people that just die of sudden heart attacks and stuff like that, a lot of times the heavy ones going up and down, their heart gave out. So that's why I tell you, like you said on the last broadcast, that time I had to come back and have that talk with you. You know what I mean? Before I hit the highway. And I told you, brother, I'm concerned about your health because I saw the way you were walking. You were just walking like you were wore out. You know what I mean? And I know you was very busy, dude. I watch your life. You're very busy. You're not getting enough, and you're stressing. I'm like, man, I got to go back and talk to my boy here. You know what I mean? And then that's when you said you started doing something about it. You see what I'm saying? So right. It's very important, man, to stop and measure where you are in life. Not just your accomplishments, but where you at with your health. Your health is more important than your accomplishments. Hold it. When you got a family who depends on you and your family dependent on you, man. 3 girls and a gorgeous wife. They looking for you, man. They depend on you. They ain't got no brother there. They looking for you. And they need you to be in the best shape you possibly can be in. And like you said, when you did the juice fast, you lost weight, but it's a different kind of weight, opposed to the weight that you would lose working out. Now, for all the people that lose weight and they got all that loose skin, they're more insecure now than they was when they were carrying the weight, because now they don't like the way they look naked. If you don't like the way you look naked, you got some issues, brother, because you don't want nobody to see you. And every time you changing clothes, you look at yourself. Every time you shower, you look at yourself. That's depressing. And I understand that. So that's why I say once you lose the weight by working hard and dieting and you're ready, your eating habits have changed and you got this thing intact, now go get you some cosmetic surgery and get some little tummy tucks and all that stuff. But not until you put the work in. That's my take on that.
I like that take, man. I like that take. And that's Stan in St. Louis. I'm in New York. And you're listening to Real Men Talk podcast. It's our first show of 2017. Stan, we're about 35 minutes in, so let's wrap it up there, my friend.
Man, that's a good place to wrap it up at.
All right,
All I want the people is to remember, watch the soy, watch the plastics, change the oils you use. There's only 4 oils in my house. Avocado oil, coconut oil, California olive oil, and real butter. That's all I cook with in my house. No other oils are allowed. So with that, I leave the people. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.
All right, man. Next Wednesday it is. All right, Stan, take care.
All right, be blessed and stay healthy, y'all. Later.
All right, be good. We will see you next week. You're listening to the Real Men Talk podcast with Stan and Marc.